I often compare, our emotional repertoire to the 8 box of crayons versus the 64 box of crayons. I break it down in there. As men, we're used to the 8, having 8, and I tie it to the emotions, but we only pull 4 of those out: anger, boldness, aggression, and maybe fear. Okay? But women, they choose to use all of the emotions that God has given us both. And then we wonder why we can't communicate with the women in our lives. It's always like a conflict, like, she don't understand, I'm trying to do this and that. Like, you're not really hearing her. You can't meet her with what she's saying because you only got 4 colors, brother. So she pulls out violet. She's trying to communicate violet. All you got is purple. She pulls out lime. You trying to get green and yellow, like, okay, but you don't see how hard I'm trying to work. I'm trying to, no, your heart is too hardened. You're hearing her words, but you can't hear her heart. And so we respond dogmatically, and now our wives put their hands up. There is no communication at that point. And so I had to learn how to become a verbal processor and process in real time, like, what is my wife really saying? And when I got to that level, now I can say, hey, babe, instead of saying you pissed me off or just accelerate to anger fast, I can say, it hurts me that you don't trust me leading this home. Instead of saying, why don't you submit to me? Why don't you trust me, babe?
Yeah.
I haven't failed yet in this regard. We make mistakes, but I hold the house. I do my part as the man and the head of this home. Now I'm pulling more colors out. I can meet her. And that's the importance of being comprehensive as a man. We were created to be more than masculine. You look at David, brother, throughout the Psalms, he cried, but no one dared test his masculine attributes. You got the samurai, great warriors, but they loved the cherry blossom tree. No one talked about their fondness for flowers. You would get beheaded. Where did this come from? Chivalry. It's not a way to pander to women. It was a code of the medieval knights. You see, the whole alpha male concept is a myth. When you study it, I break it down as well, there is no battle between 2 wolves to see who's going to lead the wolf pack. The leaders of the wolf pack are the breeding pair, the male and female.
Today years old.
Listen, you can Google that. It's out there. So in other words, from a human standpoint, the alpha wolves are those that are married. And then when you look at my brothers who often proudly boast being alpha, when you really look at them, when I meet with them, they're trying to hide behind the childhood trauma, the insecurities, the fears. Your whole embodiment is to please women, from the glasses to the cigars, to the big Bugattis, to the Ferraris, to the shoes, to the clothes. But yet you're the alpha, but yet your whole life is geared around pleasing women. And we don't see it because we've been conditioned to believe that we are to lead by intimidation. Those aren't the greatest leaders. If that was the case, we would have great peace in this world. So I lead by example, not intimidation. And that's why it's important, especially for our young brothers. I had made an acronym for the word thug, which is a traumatized human unable to grieve. And so that's why if I step on your shoe, you're ready to hit me or pull your gun out and shoot me, why you can't take disrespect. You can't even process it to keep yourself in an advantageous position. Now you do something, you react instead of respond. Now you like this and the police taking you away. And you lost the real fight because you haven't ruled your emotions. You only got 2 characteristics, provide and protect. And you don't even know how to do those well. We provide for everyone else but us, brother. And I ain't talking about financially, but being able to rest.
Yeah.
And we understand sleep, which is a physical act of just resting. But rest is the spiritual act. Rest is Hebrew for Sabbath.
Yeah.
It restores you completely. That's why brothers have a hard time taking naps when their wives come home. We jump up like, I got to keep working. Our identity, when you're only masculine, your identity is in doing. You're not a human being, you're a human doing. I got to keep moving. I got to keep working. I got to keep grinding. When you look at the word grinding, we know as men of God that Words are powerful. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. The word grinding means to wear down, to crush, to oppress. You yell grinding in a machinery shop, they hitting, stop, boom, stop, something's wrong. Because when you're grinding, you're wearing down. That's why the majority of people who say they grind look wore out.
Yeah.
And so I believe that the Most High has called me, like, men are tired of suffering in silence. We see now, like, wait a minute, there's more to life than just doing.
Right.
But until you have enough courage to be authentic and really express, like really allow like Christ to live through you, you'll never really fulfill what you're called to do. And that's why I'm thankful for my mom, that experience. I never thought I would be thankful that my mother developed dementia and I had to endure all that I had. But now, where I am as a man, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
No, that's really good. Even as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking through like how our working definition of manhood or masculinity has effects on women, right? But I'm curious, like for you, how would you define masculinity or define manhood?
Well, that's the catch right there. So we think masculinity is a comprehensive definition of manhood or being a man. It's not. When you look up the word, it's a few attributes: boldness, strength, aggression, though traditionally ascribed to men.
Okay.
That's it. Wait a minute, I was created to do way more than that.
Right.
Okay? Hence why you never hear women say, I'm a feminine woman. You rarely hear that. There may be a feminist movement, but you never hear a woman just lock into one facet of her humanity, because she knows. I had a single mom. She had to be anything and everything at every given moment. So she knew how to meet the demand of everything. She had to morph from the fighter to the provider to the leader to the nurturer to the gentle woman to the friend. She knew how to do it all. Look at Harriet Tubman, brother. Did she exude masculine characteristics? Absolutely.
Boldness.
But she also had the nurturing side as well. So first and foremost, we don't need to redefine masculinity. It means what it is what it is. And I'm thankful for it. If this building caught on fire, I wouldn't want firemen coming in here not in a masculine spirit. Boom, come on, get out. I want them slanging doors on me, get me up out this boy. But that energy isn't needed when you're dealing with a child with disabilities. When you're dealing with, you may have a son who may struggle with academics and you get frustrated, boom, why don't you just listen to do what you're supposed to do? No.
I need you to get out of my house.
Yeah, exactly. You're so silly, man.
Out of my house.
I thought you were literally, that's hilarious. But but no, that's the thing. So what is manhood? So biblically, there is no masculine and feminine attributes. There's only human characteristics. Look at David again. Look at Yeshua, Jesus, for instance. He exuded every characteristic. I close with him in the book because that's where the whole concept came from.
Yeah.
He was a fighter when he made a whip of cords, beating out the money changers. He was a provider when he fed 5,000 people with 2 fish and 5 loaves. He was the leader, teaching his disciples how to be what? Fisher of men. I can go on and on. He was the nurturer, the gentleman. He would communicate with women in a time when you wasn't supposed to speak with them on an intimate level.
Yeah.
No ulterior motives. The gentleman. So what is manhood? Manhood is exuding as many characteristics as possible to help you really accomplish why you're here. They're really, when you, even saying the word manhood, if we think about it, it locks us in. I remember I was at a Charlemagne event, the Mental Wealth Expo in New York, and the moderator asked me, how do you define a man? I said, you can't. Once you do, you've limited his life.